How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Hey, when's the last time you lubed your companion? What'd I say? We lubed, maintenanced our fifth wheel hitch at a minimum twice a year. If we're traveling a lot and the weather is rough, we'll do it more often. What's sad is, I know for certain there are a few of us who never really thought much about it. And not to be punny, but there is a lot riding on it.
I know there's a lot riding on it, but it's all psychological.
Okay, today we're going to do something that I'm shocked to find out that an awful lot of other people don't really do or aren't aware of that they actually need to do, and that's service our companion hitch. This is a 20,000-pound hitch, and it's used to pull our 42-foot fifth wheel. So let's get started. Protect our fingers from the grease. We're going to go ahead and put on our nitrile gloves. And we're going to start off by taking the head of this unit off. To do that, there are actually a couple of saddle pins, that's what these are called, right here and right here. They come off. They're held on with a couple of cotta pins, and this whole saddle and head will come off. It's about 75 pounds. So to do that, I'm going to remove the locking pin for the handle, put it out of the way, pull the cotta pin, put it down in a safe place. Do the same thing on this side, and then I'm going to grab a rag, a disposable one, because I put a little bit of grease on this pin. This is an easy process, but that plate and saddle weigh about 75 pounds. If you're a little out of shape, please get someone to help you lift it off and put it back in place. No sense in hurting yourself. Okay, to lift this off, you have to lift up on these two handles which release it. So I'm going to do this, you'll see it from the back side, and then set it back over here. Lift up, that comes off. Bring it over, set it down, and flip it over. What we're going to do is clean all of this grease out of here and the overflow grease right here, and then we're going to re-grease this zerk to make sure everything is ready to go again. So that's our next step. And we'll come back and clean this off. Using the zerk to grease up this rod so it can articulate sideways. And now we're getting ready to add some more lithium. The saddle arm bolts should be periodically checked to be sure they are torqued to specs. For us, that's 110 foot-pounds. Now we just add a thin layer of lithium grease to these articulation points, and then we're going to set everything back down. We've already checked the bolts on the inside for 110 foot-pounds of torque to make sure that the arms are nice and solid and aren't going to move. Now, it's a great time to go ahead and start to polish and wax anything that you haven't cleaned up to just help the finish last a little bit longer. The other good thing is to make sure you put a cover over top of it to protect it as well. These are the locking handles for the pucks that go into the bed of the Superduty pickup truck that we're mounted this thing to. We've cleaned the pivot arms of the old grease and we've put new grease back on top of it. We use Lucas white lithium grease, comes in a tube. I think it was only about $5 online, and I've got more than enough to last me probably a lifetime. This little thing is a spring that's set up to make sure that that head stays fairly level when it's sitting here without any weight on it. So it'll be a little easier to go ahead and slide your kingpin in and make the connection. Helps to prevent some high pins. So at this point, now that we've completed the regular maintenance on this, we're going to go ahead and put the head back on. Make sure we've got everything locked down. Then I'm going to get the keys to unlock our padlocks so that we can check our puck. Take the saddle pin, put it back into place. Grab the saddle pin on the other side, put it back into place. Take the cotter pin, put it in, and do the same thing on this side. Check to make sure it articulates, jaws work, goes back and forth, and it goes from side to side. So everything is set. Next is the puck system. Now, if you have a Superduty with the in-bed puck system, be sure to occasionally check to see that the castle nuts on the locking arms are adjusted properly to prevent slop, but not so tight that they have to be banged back into place when locked or open. You know, banging them with your fist or a hammer. Okay, we've removed the padlocks that we keep on this. We choose to lock the base to the bed with a couple of inexpensive master locks, and we have a spare lock that we can replace the safety pin with if we're going to be away from our rig while we're in travel mode. It's mostly a deterrent. You know the old saying, locks just keep the honest people honest. We talk about that in this video. We'll leave a link to it here. We're going to check it and see. It looks like the handles are just a slight bit loose. This one is tight. This one's got a little wiggle to it. So our next thing is to go ahead and remove the cotter pins. Everything's in place. Put our tools up here out of the way. And we're set. Now, those puck levers should be a little snug to open and close, but not so that you have to beat on them. Just get them to where they're tight, and occasionally double check just to make sure that your base isn't working itself loose. That's the police helicopter. Once you get it set up and your puck, you're sure that everything's tightened down with your puck system, you're pretty much good to go. Just make sure everything is back in place, that the handles have locked down, that the hitch is solid right now, the jaws open and close. There are two positions that the safety pin can be in. Number one is holding the latch handle wide open, and the other, number two, is latching it closed. Is that on this hitch, this is where the pin goes into that hole. And if you're having a problem, and say the hitch pin was stuck in here because this was tipped at an angle and you're trying to get away from it without a second person to help hold that, you can put your pin in there. Note, even if the jaws are closed, when trying to unhitch, which could be because of upward pressure on the jaws, if you pin the latch arm open, the jaws will release as soon as the truck pulls forward. And that'll take care of it until you get away from the fifth wheel. When you're ready to hook back up again, just leave it in the open position. When we're hitching up, we leave it open but not latched. And as the kingpin comes in, it'll splay them out, hook onto it, and then cause this to close. And once you're sure that the jaws are all the way around, go ahead and set your pin back into place and have your jaws closed around the kingpin. Now remember, this is not a how-to, but a how we do it video. Every hitch is different, even within the same manufacturers. So look up and follow the instructions for your make and model, and add hitch maintenance to your list of items to do regularly for your rig. We really hope that this video helps you out, or at least gets you to think about more things RV. So, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos about RVs and RVing, subscribe. Who knows, maybe we'll see you out on the road, or right here in the next video. Please, travel safe.